And I think a lot of the time people are worried about the wrong risks. What you need to watch out for is like the weird uncle or like the boyfriend's dad or something. Obviously these other crimes do happen, but the difference in frequency is astronomical.
But then some of them have that attitude of like, I had to fucking hustle, so you're going to have to hustle too. And that's not the point. The whole point is to make things better and make things easier and make things more attainable. But instead, people just get petty. Like, yeah. I had to walk to school. You walk to school.
Yeah, I had to like dig my way through the trenches and climb mountains to get to
It's
school.
Almost like where does that attitude end when all of a sudden they're like, no, we're not going to the grocery store. You fucking churn that butter, bitch. You churn
it.
I had to churn butter. You got to churn butter. When when my grandparents came to Canada, they kept their house in Portugal. And they were on one of the islands in the Azores. And they got a lot of I think they got a lot of earthquakes or hurricanes, I can't remember. I think it was actually both. So many, many, many years ago, there was a hurricane that swept through the islands and it damaged my grandmother's house, which they hadn't been back to in fucking 30 years anyway. But it damaged the house, and then the government was going to give people money to be able to rebuild if they wanted to. So then my mom was like so excited. She was like, when they rebuild the house, they're going to put the bathroom inside.
Oh my God.
What was it?
Oh, wow.
That's how she grew up. Meanwhile, we're complaining the microwave takes too long, and my mom had to put on boots and shoes to go take a shit in the middle of the night. And her friend was hilarious because it was like they didn't have picnic tables, you didn't eat outside. So her friend, after they had moved to Canada and been here for a few years, her friend was like, "Can you believe it? Back home, we used to shit outside and eat inside, and now people eat outside and shit inside."
Oh, the modern era.
What will happen next?
Yeah.
There's going to be TikTok videos of people eating oranges in the shower. That's what comes next.
Yeah. Man, life really is so, like, even in our lifetime, life is so much simpler, like easier to do now than it used to be.
I don't know how my parents let me leave the house ever. Yeah. Right? Like now, when my niece was younger, I mean, she's almost 22 now, so she's, fully grown adult. But when she was, I don't know, say 12, 13, 14, they gave her a phone because they wanted to be able to check in and know where she was. So like this one day she was in school and she wanted to go to McDonald's with her friends at lunch. So my sister-in-law and my sister both were like, okay, you need to text us when you leave school. You need to text us when you get to McDonald's. You need to text us when you leave McDonald's. You need to text us when you get back to school, so they could check in where she was the entire time. And meanwhile, when I was that age, my mom was like, okay, bye.
Yeah.
I love you. I hope I see you again. But if not, we had a good run.
I think that's one of the reasons why I think parents now are helicopter parents, is because our parents just kind of let us get on with it. And now there's an overcorrection to this, like, you've always got to be around your kids. You've got to block up all of their time so they're never bored. And I think a lot of the time people are worried about the wrong risks. What you need to watch out for is like the weird uncle or like the boyfriend's dad or something. This, like, obviously these other crimes do happen, but the difference in frequency is astronomical.
Absolutely. And I think that's one thing that parents need to, and like, I mean, I'm not going to tell people how to parent because I'm not a parent, but the one thing that I hear often is, respect your elders, respect adults, blah, blah, blah. But when it's that adult who's hurting you or a different adult who's hurting you, and you've been told your entire life to don't talk back, respect adults, where do you draw the line? Right? Like, I think we need to start teaching kids question things. If it doesn't feel right, say something, right? Like if we set that out there, because even I was told as a kid, you got to respect your elders and when you go to school, you just do what they tell you and you do what adults tell you because that's what it is. But we need to question shit because you're raising future adults, right? Raise them to be inquisitive and curious and to stand up for what's right. And that starts from the time that they're children, which is another reason why I get so mad when people don't put their grocery carts away.
Yeah, well, it's these bigger things.
Right, you give your kids shit for not putting their toys away, and then they're watching you just fucking blah with a grocery cart. When I see like videos of people my age, or like I have friends that are around my age, that like a friend of mine is 6 years older than I am, and she's got like 2 daughters and a granddaughter. And and it's like, I
Yeah.
couldn't, like, I can't even imagine having a kid, much less having a grandkid like that.
Could you imagine like how busy your life would be and all those people around all the time? You could be a great grandmother by the time you're 66.
Mm. Yeah, because I mean, like, my mom had my sister when she was 20.
Mm.
So if my sister had had a kid when she was 20, and then
Mm.
that kid had a kid when they were 20,
Mm.
by the time my mom was 80, she would be a great, 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 or
Yeah.
what, great,
Yeah.
great grandmother.
Yeah.
Mm.
All
Although my husband has a big family,
Mm.
and like his grandparents, I think they had 8 kids, and each of those kids had at least, I think, at least 2 kids.
Mm.
And so like his family reunions are massive.
Mm.
And then like I remember he was saying like once his grandfather was kind of like sitting back, and we go family reunions like this campsite every year. So he's like looking at his whole family who's there, and it was like, I made this, right? He didn't say the words, "This you all came from my nuts," but it was implied. But like, and that's, like that's if that's what you want,
Mm.
that's got to be an amazing feeling.
Yeah, but how hard is it though, being the bloke and all you do is you just go, "Ugh," and then that's it? I'm
For
not sure
9 months.
he
I
made
mean, there
one.
is some child, you would hope, some child rearing that he would do after the baby is born. But that's pretty
Yeah.
much it.
Yeah, yeah. Little tiny pee-pee vomit. Yeah.
PP vomit. Oh, Chris. PP vomit.
I don't even know where I got that from. I just plucked it out of the ether. I thought that sounds good to say on a podcast.